4 years ago, I made my first ever crochet project. It was a very ill-fitting bucket hat. I have learned quite a few tips and tricks between then and now, and I'm about to lay them all on you. By the end of this video, your crochet is going to be looking so neat, so crisp, like it just came out of the air fryer. Number one, this is one of the first hacks that I learned when I was starting to crochet, and it genuinely changed the game. It is the back loop foundation chain. Normally, when you create your foundation chain, you would go into the front loop here. Instead of doing that, we are going to turn our chain over and go into this bump on the back of our chains. This is the back loop. And you are just going to insert your hook here and place your first stitch as you normally would. This creates a really crisp and neat foundation chain, and here you can see side by side the back loop only method and the normal foundation method. Hack number two, this is an alternative for a neater foundation chain, but it is using the chainless foundation method. This did take me a few tries to get right. I especially like using it for wearables or when I'm working on a project that I don't have a pattern for. It makes it a lot easier to go back and edit my foundation chain. This hack changes slightly depending on which stitch you are using, but I'm going to start with the single crochet method. Create your slip knot, and then we are going to chain 2. You're going to place your hook into the first chain and make sure that you pick up both loops, so the front and back loop, and then you're just going to yarn over, chain 1, and then complete your single crochet, so yarn over and pull through 2. And you can see here we're starting to build up that single crochet foundation. Into the base of that chain, you're going to insert your hook. Again, make sure that you are picking up both loops, the front and back loop. Pull through, chain 1, and then complete your single crochet, yarn over, pull through 2. I'll show you one more time. Into the base of that stitch you just formed, you're going to insert your hook, making sure you are picking up both loops, yarn over, pull through, chain 1, yarn over, complete your single crochet. And you can see here you are starting to build that foundation chain, and you're just going to continue that method until you have the length of chain that you want. Really similar for a half double crochet. Again, just slip knot and chain 2. Because we're doing a half double crochet, we are going to yarn over and then insert into that first stitch, making sure that we are picking up both the front and back loops. Yarn over, pull through, chain 1, so yarn over, pull through the first hook, and then complete your half double crochet. So yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Again, we're going to yarn over and into the base of that chain you just created, insert your hook, picking up both loops, so you should have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through, chain 1, and then complete your half double crochet, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. You can see we're starting to build that foundation chain, and you are just going to continue this until you have the length that you want. For the double crochet, again, super similar, slip knot and chain 2. Yarn over and insert into that first chain, picking up both loops. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and chain 1, and then complete your double crochet. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You can see that we just created our double crochet. Yarn over and into the base of that stitch. Insert your hook, picking up both loops, yarn over, pull through, chain 1, and then complete your double crochet. You can see we are starting to build up these double crochets with our foundation chain, looking nice and neat. Into the base, insert your hook, pull through, chain 1, and then double crochet as normal. And you'll just repeat this process until you have the length of the foundation chain that you want. This third hack is to get you super smooth edges. As soon as I learned this, I never went back. If you are making something for a market or you are making something to sell, these small details be perfected makes all of the difference. Starting with your base chain, instead of placing your first stitch into the second stitch from your hook, you are going to go right into that very first stitch and place your single crochet. This can be a little bit tricky, but trust me, it's worth it. This hack also differentiates a little bit based on the stitch that you use, so I'm just going to show you the single crochet method first. Once you've placed that single crochet into the very first stitch, you are just going to single crochet as normal all the way across. Once you get to the end, usually you would chain one, turn your work, and then start crocheting. But instead of doing that, I'm gonna remove that chain. You are just going to turn your work and again, place your single crochet right into that very first stitch. This removes a lot of the extra bulk that you sometimes get when you are creating a turning chain. Once you've done that, again, just crochet like normal all the way across. I'm going to show you how we modify this for a half double crochet or double crochet. So again, from your base chain into that very first stitch, you are just going to place your single crochet. And let's say I'm doing a half double crochet, I'm going to want to build up that height. So in order to do that, I'm going to go back into that single crochet. I'm going to go into these two loops here and place a second single crochet. And this just builds your chain up to the height of a half double crochet. And then you can half double crochet all the way across as you normally would. Once you get to the end, again, instead of chaining and turning, we are just going to turn our work into that very first stitch, place your single crochet. And then we want to build up that height, so place a second single crochet into these two loops here. And if you are going for a double crochet or a treble crochet or something bigger, you will just stack more single crochets on top of that. Next hack, I would say that this is pretty basic, but not everyone knows about it. If you're not doing this, you are severely missing out, but it is crocheting in your ends as you go. It saves so much time, okay? Because nobody likes sewing in their ends. I don't care what you say. You either hate sewing in your ends or you're a liar. Crochet in your ends as you go and you'll thank me later. Like I said, this is so simple, easy. You need to be doing this. You are just going to take these two tail ends and place them on top of your row. And then when you are placing your crochet stitches, just making sure that you are grabbing your working yarn around those tail ends, essentially tucking them under the working yarn and just crocheting like normally. Once you finish, you can cut off any excess ends. It looks neat. You don't have to worry about anything falling apart. Mwah. Tip number 5, this is for my gals and guys that love a little color mix and match up. We all know that changing your crochet colors can be a little bit annoying. Taking your hook out, tying your knot, you have all these ends going everywhere. This is the ultimate color changing hack, especially if you pair this with sewing in your ends as you go. You are going to be a color changing master. Working your last stitch before you change color, you are just not going to yarn over and pull through that last time, and instead you are going to grab your new color or your new yarn and pull through using that. Make sure that you tighten everything up, especially the yellow color, and then you can just turn your work and start crocheting as you normally would with your new color. Make sure you work in your ends. I did have to do a few hours of scouring the internet to find these tips and tricks, but I know that not everyone has that kind of time to master their crochet, and that is where today's sponsor comes in, Craftsy. Craftsy is an online community where you can find endless inspiration, up-level your skills, or find a completely new hobby to be passionate about. Craftsy has over 2,000 classes for all skill levels and step-by-step instructions in over 20 categories, including knitting, painting, baking, and crocheting. There are so many great crochet resources on here. I think you guys would especially like this funny gurumi class and this See It Crochet It reading diagrams course. What I specifically had my eye on for this video is the neat edges and flawless joins for perfect crochet. One of the things on Craftsy that I feel like is really underrated is their blog posts. I personally like learning by reading over watching a video, and if you're like me, you will love this article on these 10 crochet stitches that will advance your skill set to queen status. Yes, ma'am. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to hit the link in the description will get a full year of Craftsy premium membership for just $1.49. Hack number 6, this is an alternative to when you are changing colors or when you are just adding in a new ball of yarn. It is using the magic knot, or I think some people call it the Russian knot. It just keeps everything neat and together, and it gives me peace of mind. That knot is not going anywhere, okay? She is sturdy, she's in place. Nothing is going to fall apart after spending hours and hours working on it. Let's say that I want to add in another ball of green yarn here. I'm just going to take the new end of yarn and tie a knot around the working yarn. And then I'm going to take the other end, so the end of the working yarn, and tie a knot to the new yarn. And once you have that, you are just going to pull them together. And this is not going anywhere. Number 7, this is another hack that I kind of thought everyone knew, but I was talking to my friend about it the other day and she was gagged. When you are doubling up on your yarn, so using 2 strands of the same yarn to make it a little extra bulky, if you only have one ball of yarn, you can just use the center pull and the outside end of the yarn. Essentially, you're just using both ends of the yarn, putting those together. Number 8, this is just all of my crochet accessories advice to you. Using these poppets as row counters or stitch counters, I just think that's very fun and very cute. I'm a big supporter of that. Number 2, it is to invest a little bit of extra money into your hooks. Most hooks are just these metal ones, no handle, but I highly recommend investing into these hooks with a rubber handle. The thicker grip does help with hand fatigue when you're crocheting. On the other end of the spectrum, an accessory that I think you should save your cash on are stitch markers. I like to just use the things around my house. Paper clips, safety pins, long open backed earrings. If you are looking to save your money for your yarn, save it on the stitch markers. Another tip for my frugal girlies is going to the thrift store. Go to the thrift store and find a high quality knit jumper or sweater. I don't know why I just called it a jumper. Take it home, unravel it, and you will have more yarn than you will know what to do with. Just make sure that you double check the inseam so that it is actually unravelable. I will link a full-length tutorial on how to do this as well. Another super expensive crochet item that you can get at the thrift store is polyfill. A lot of thrift stores will just have polyfill, but if yours doesn't, you can buy thrifted pillows, use the polyfill to your heart's content, reuse or re-thrift the actual pillowcase. Final hack of the day, if you are a little bit further along in your crochet journey, you already know everyone and your mom is going to be asking for a handmade gift for birthdays, Christmas, all of the holidays, all of the things. My advice to you, instead of just making them the full project, gift them a swatch and a little idea board of the project you have in mind. This way, you can actually work with them on the project, and that you're not spending hours and hours making something that is just going to end up in the back of their closet. If you want to meet other crocheters and continue to up level your skill, be sure to check out my free crochet community.